Alright guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be going over a review of Medieval Williams Pinball Volume 1. It just came out for the Atgames Pinball system last Wednesday, and I've had about a week to play it. Haven't played it as much as I would have liked, as I've had quite a few different engagements this week, but this is my review of Williams Pinball Volume 1, and we got to be very, very excited. This is some of the best games ever to come to pinball in general, but I think this is probably the best pack, at least it has to be in the running for the best pack ever to come to the Atgames system. Obviously we've had Addams Family, Twilight Zone, the Monster Bash pack has been quite good, but as you can see here, for $15, the Williams Pinball Volume 1 is an absolute steal. Two of maybe the best pinball games that we've had on the system to date. And Junkyard, which is, we'll talk about it, but it's a little bit little obscure, but it actually has some really good perks to it. It's a really good table in general. So we'll get started. We're going to go ahead and go down to reviews, or we're going to go to my favorites, which obviously it's in my favorites, and we're going to talk a little bit about Medieval Madness. Now, Medieval Madness is a Brian Eddy table, much like Attack from Mars. It plays very similar. In fact, the layout of the playfield is almost identical. If you look really closely, it's almost identical to that of Attack from Mars. You still have a capture hole. You still have a central element that you're going to hit. You have a lock target. You have a ramp, and you have an orbit. The only thing additional in this one is you actually have the catapult, which basically essentially acts as another orbit. You have your capture hole, which is Merlin's magic, which gives you rewards and such. You have the ramp for the maiden, so your princess. And you have you have an animated dragon here, which is pretty sweet. Then you have another orbit, which is for your joust victories and stuff like that. To light Merlin's magic, you actually hit these 3 stars over in this target bank over here. But the idea of the game is to actually beat the Earl of Ego and the Sir Psycho and all these people, these characters that are in liege with the King of Pain. And he has come and he's conquered your kingdom, and he holds power in your kingdom. And the idea is to knock off his people and destroy their castles in the process. So lots of fun to be had in this table. We'll get started and kind of go through it. First thing you want to do is look at your table. Always look at the table first. I think the thing that sticks out to people immediately on this table it's pretty dark. So if you come up here, I'm going to come up to the side here, and you can see this upper third, really from the bottom of the castle to the top of the playfield, is pretty dark. It looks pretty good on camera. If you play in a dark room, I think it's a little better. I'm playing in a fairly dark room right now, which makes it a little bit better than it probably is in most people's rooms. The back glass, which is not really projected on the screen here because of the angle of the camera, actually has a little bit of a glare as well. So if you have the 3M tape, it will take care of that. It is not pronounced, it's not Chucky by any stretch, but it is something to consider. The playability of this table is incredible. It does not play like the Steam version. It actually plays identical to the Switch version, which I know I've mentioned many times. If you have a Switch and you've been playing these games on Switch, you know what to expect. You know how the physics are going to be portrayed, and you got to expect that. So when you start this game, always make sure to flip up your left flipper. This gives you a really good way to knock off some of the extra targets along the way. But the playability of this table is incredible. Some of the callouts are really good. So I'm going to get trolls right away. I have the ability to light trolls, rather. We'll crank this up. So this is one of the things that we need to talk about with Medieval Madness. I typically play on a volume of 30. I have to pump it up to at least 40. And in this case, I'm going to go even higher. I'm going to go all the way up to 50 because I want you to be able to hear this table. It is very quiet. So you've already got a couple things against it. You've got the darkness of the upper third. You got a little bit of glare because the back glass is a little brighter than some. And I've got mine turned down quite low, the back glass. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Maybe you can a little bit in the camera. And then you've got the music is quite quiet on this table. So we've got that to deal with. The callouts are very, very good. The visibility of the gate, however, is quite dark. You can see the drawbridge actually come down, but this area is so dark, you really can't tell what's going on there. You can't tell if that gate is up or not. In this case, obviously, it's down. But as we knock that out, it'll be tough to see. Obviously, when it blinks green when you hit the moat or the castle multi-ball slot there, it does help with that. There, the gate is damaged. The dragon is getting very upset with me. But the playability of this table is absolutely fantastic. There's no question that this table is an absolute 10 as far as the gameplay itself. Now, if you want to talk about the conversion to the Atgames systems, I think it's a solid 9.5. I know the volume's a little low. I think that's very easily patchable. The darkness about it, I don't think they're going to fix. If you look at this table in real life, it's pretty dark to begin with. So that's not something I see them fixing. This is Castle Multi-Ball, which is incredibly easy to get into, I think, on this particular physics system. And then during this, you have a couple different jackpots. Both of the ramps become jackpots, as you can see. And you want to try to hit both of those as many times as possible. Certainly more than I have already. I'm losing balls left and right. It is very easy to capture a ball on this because it has the weight of the ball is quite high. So we're going to try to capture this, throw it at the jackpot. And then, when you get the opportunity, your super jackpot will be at the Castle Multi-Ball shot. So it doesn't look like I got it this time, but... So during that multi-ball, you actually get the chance to shoot up this jackpot, and then there's actually a super jackpot, which is right there. Underneath the ramp, there's a little red light that will come on, and that says that's the super jackpot. So you want to shoot for that during that multi-ball. See if we can't get into Trolls. Trolls is one of the highlights, I think, sound-wise, for the sound effects kit. I think the Trolls sound absolutely fantastic on here. They have a nice metallic clink when they come out and they hit the top, and they hit the playfield itself from the bottom. There's like a clink and a clink, and you'll hear that when it comes out when they come out of the table, and also when you hit them. Let's see if we can't get that so that you can actually hear it. Here you go, Trolls. Take a listen. Very good, right? I think so. Definitely one of the highlights. The castle exploding doesn't sound particularly good on this. It's not very punchy. You expect it to be a lot louder, more, you want it to be more of an event, right? But the Trolls actually become the bigger event, quite frankly, because of their really strong metallic sounds. But playability, this table plays incredibly well. Like I said, it's very clean. The ball is nice and heavy. You definitely feel and hear the ball rolling around. So this is the castle exploding. The bad part about this, we're gonna go ahead and capture this ball down the down ramp here. I'm gonna hold on to this ball just for a second. So when that castle exploded, you're gonna hear most of that sound right up here in the upper left corner, just by the side speaker. I have my side speakers turned up all the way, so they're very, very loud, and I keep most of my other speakers fairly low. So I do get that sound pretty good, but it's a little misrepresented, and I wish it was a little bit better. There is a clunk that I keep hearing, which I'm not really sure what that's coming from. It's only when you stop play and kind of hold the ball. So it's kind of strange. There's my extra ball. And who knows, maybe we'll have a good game on camera for a change. Sometimes it happens, sometimes not. There is a little bit of censored cursing. So if you have kids or you're worried about that, there's no worries there. It's censored, and yes, it's funny. Most of these titles they don't really have anything to speak of cursing-wise, so you don't have to worry about that too much. The only ones you have to worry about are definitely the ones that are rated M, so you've got Chucky, The Thing, things like that. So here we are with Trolls, Multi-Ball Madness again. This is the one where the Trolls actually alternate sides, and so As you notice, I have lots of different jackpots to hit. I have to do my best to try to get ramps and target as I go. And with any luck, I can get back to hitting the super jackpot. Aww. So I got a couple, but certainly not a very good multi-ball. Oh, and I lost that ball. So that was all ball one. So like I said, this game is very playable. There's a lot going on that you can play. Like I said, if you like Attack from Mars, you're going to absolutely love Medieval Madness. If you're a pinball fan at all, you've probably played this one before, somewhere along the way, whether it was the Chicago Gaming remake, or perhaps even the original if you're old enough. This is one of the best-selling tables of all time, so they are out there. They are very pricey if you were to buy the real machine. From what last I heard, they're about $12 million. $12,000. So I'm sure Pinside or one of the other sites would be able to give me a totally accurate number, but like I said, this table is incredible. Plays really well. There is a few downfalls just from the conversions, but I really don't see any reason to discredit this game on its merit. If you don't like the special effects, you can turn those off. It does not help with the darkness factor though, so just know that there's no... Obviously, none of the, I'm not doing terrible these last couple balls, but I'm talking it out. I don't need to play this game too much more to have you guys see it, so that's really why I'm not too concerned about it, to be honest. The callouts are probably the one thing that I don't want to give away a lot of the callouts, but there is absolutely a ton of callouts. Even the famous callouts from Tina Fey for the Princess are included in this title. We've got our chickens! There's callouts to other games, such as Attack from Mars, which are really cool. They took our shoes! So, all kinds of good stuff going on. There's another castle. I do love the dragon that he spews fire. He doesn't really make sense necessarily to have there, but it does what it does. This was a Flipper Friends game this week, and I apologize. I typically do a Flipper Friends on Saturday, and my life was way too crazy this week to do one, so I did not get that opportunity, and I really apologize for that. Had I had more time or planned a little better, I thought that I would have most of Saturday to be able to play and do my Flipper Friends, and it just did not happen, so I apologize for that. I hope you had a good week playing Addams Family and Medieval Madness. Black Belt is quite good, even though it's the older version. Try to get this ball over to the right flipper. It's not working. Shoot the castle, which is dangerous, mind you. Let's go back and do another castle multi-ball, because why not, right? Now I kill that. I got that hurry up finally. You have a little extra time. You can capture balls really easily on this one. And it's actually better to have only two, so I'm hoping that I can hang on to both of these. And as you can see, it's a lot easier to go jackpot, 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 and then go for the super jackpot. So what I'm trying to do here is get this on the right flipper now. Hopefully this will settle down, and should. Now you see the super jackpot right by the castle multi-ball shot. There you go. That's a super jackpot. That's what you want. So good. You get a little bit of a tutorial in this one as well. points are much tougher to come by on this one than I say than Attack from Mars, which scores everything in the billions pretty much. I just got another extra ball, so this has been a pretty good game. And I only have 38 million. Like, it's not even, you know, this is not a high scoring game. So I've beaten 3 castles so far. I have a couple extra balls to go for. Hoping to get trolls. There we go. Again, listen to the clink. So good. Love it. Super crispy. And this review is going to be a little longer because Medieval Madness is freaking awesome. So how's that? And I love you, man. I thought I heard that one of the trolls was David Spade somewhere along the way, but I don't think that's true. I have to look that up. The troll characters are quite fun to listen to. They do have a really good representation, and I think it's so much fun. Oh no, almost lost that ball. That was very, very close. I was trying to get a little cute. You see I held up the left flipper and was going to try to get... lost that one too. Again, which is good. But we don't want to show this game for 40 minutes. You can play this game for quite a while if you get good. Get used to capturing balls, doing multi-balls. There's lots going on. So that's ball 3, so that'll be the end of the game. But that is a representation of Medieval Madness. What an incredible game. Again, the table is an absolute 10. There's no questioning that, I don't think. As far as the conversion goes, I think it's pretty darn good. There's some stuff that they could have done better. I would like to see them lighten up the top third of the table, and the sound definitely needs to be boosted a little bit. I think that'll happen. The updates from Zen are going to be a little slower coming to that game system. I'm sure they have to go through some type of approval process and such. But we'll see how that happens. So yeah, so that's my contribution to Flipper Friends for Medieval Madness for this week. All right, so moving on. My next one of my absolute favorite games is The Getaway. Now this is a sequel to High Speed 1. This is also known as The Getaway High Speed 2. Now this is a Steve Ritchie title. And if you know me at all, you know that I love Steve Ritchie titles. I love all things Black Knight. He did Black Knight, he did Black Knight 2000, he did The Shadow. I'm sorry, Brian Denny did The Shadow. He did The Getaway, which we're gonna get to. Now this one, you notice how loud it is. This one's crazy loud now because I turned up Medieval Madness so darn loud. So we're gonna go all the way down to a 30, which is my normal playing volume. Again, look at the table, the colors, they're bright, they are vibrant. They're even a little washed out because I'm playing in the morning as opposed to the evening, so maybe it doesn't look as good as I would like. But man, the colors are so good on this. I play with the visual effects off, but you'll notice there still are some visual effects going on in here. So in fact, I'll turn them on for the sake of that. And we'll turn floating scores back on. I did a trial just to see if it affected the FPS of things, and it really didn't. The only thing it did change... By the way, the music, that transition is actually intentional. I actually submitted that to the Zen Studios board, and Balti actually came back and said, no, that's actually intentional. So they've actually did that on purpose. This table has like a shift mechanic you've seen on the DMD there, where you have to shift up or down to be able to plunge the ball. Since we don't have that, it's a little wonky. You can either use the down button for plunge, or you can use a full plunge for your plunger, for your shifter, and then a half plunge is actually shift down. So just know that when you're playing this game, if you have to shift down for any reason, maybe in video mode or something like that, you have that ability, but it's a little tricky. So just know that going in. So here we go, The Getaway. You notice you got your character here, you got some snowfall up top, RPM ramps, all looks absolutely fantastic. And as you play, you have to do shift ups, so sometimes it's easier just to reach over with your thumb. You can kind of see my thumb down here wiggling. You may just have to reach over to the D-pad, hit that down arrow, and that's a way to shift up, or you do a full plunge to shift up as well during gameplay. And here we go. The idea is to try to get loops, and here we're going to have to shift. So I'm going to push down on the D-pad. Again, it's a little weird for that. It takes a little getting used to, but it's well worth it. Got special right away, which is really cool. Thought I was going to get an extra ball, which would be better, but again, good weighted ball. This is switch physics again, which will be across the board for all of these Atgames conversions, which feels really, really good. They even feel different than the Zen Pinball World, which I've been trying to see how they relate to that. They're not the same either, so at least from what I can tell. So anyway, sounds on this game are absolutely great. Hoping to not lose that ball. This is one of my favorite pinball tables of all time. I love Steve Ritchie titles. I love the theming. A little bit of a spot right in the middle of my play field there. It has the idea of you're being chased by the police. Oh, come on. Luckily, I have free ride, which is basically a ball save. There's the superchargers. You get an idea what that's like. There's a couple different instances where that becomes a factor in multi-ball and things like that. But the idea is to go just as fast as you can and run the cops. Good scores on this are very, very doable. Again, you can capture the ball quite well on the flippers, so it helps with assisting new players be able to take those shots. If I had to rate this table, I would easily give it a 9. It's very close to a 10 for me because it plays so incredibly well. The only thing that makes it a little weird is the controls. You have to get used to the controls. Just because you don't have that physical shifter to have to deal with. And that makes it a little tricky. Now, it would be nice if you had the ability to shift. So I actually pushed up. You see that I did a forward nudge, and I actually meant to do a shift up. So, again, it's a little wonky on the controls, so you have to get used to this. So this is video mode. This is cool. So you have to shift. You want to shift gears, go extra fast. The faster you go, the more points you score, but you really want to just avoid cars. And if you're lucky, you'll get a chance for an extra ball. There you go. So I didn't go particularly fast, only 132 miles an hour, but I did get through it. I thought that you could only shift up once. You can actually shift up all the way. So just know that when you're in that mode, you can keep shifting to go faster and faster, but you're going to have to be able to do it with the crazy controls and be able to flip back and forth to make sure that your car steers. So just know that it's a thing. Oh, I thought I had it. Shooting the orbits on this table is super fun. Once you get 1, 2, you can kind of let the ball roll all the way to the other side. So that's what I'm going to try to show if I can get control of the ball here. Not had much luck getting to the orbits today. Oh, my goodness. Wow. There's one. You go all the way around. You can go this and then go right back to the other side with any luck. I couldn't make the shot, but a lot of time, once you get in the groove, you'll be throwing around back and forth, orbit after orbit after orbit. It just has such an amazingly good flow to it. You do this, comes back around, hit it to the other side. So there you go. Just feels so good. You can dead flip. I mean, it's a really playable table. Here we go. We'll go to the other side. I think it said to shift up. Yep, it sure did. I missed it. There's that. We'll do some loops. Callouts are really cool. This is basically a donut heaven, kind of like a Krispy Kreme, if you will. And you go up there, and there it says donut heaven. But the lady actually says all kinds of cool stuff like "nice car." It's kind of like the Kiss the girl for Kiss on that Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, I lost my ball. I was hoping to get the multi-ball there, but you get the idea. Again, really good table. The only thing I didn't really get to show you is the ball trails. During the multi-ball, there's a smoke ball trail that you'll see even if you have the visual effects off. It looks really, really cool. And I gotta say, the Getaway is a wonderful addition to the pack. Between Medieval Madness and this one, I think this table could have easily sold for $10. Medieval Madness, I know, could have sold for $15. The fact that you're getting them for $15 for all three of these tables is an absolute steal. You could say that you're getting away with it. So I know, terrible pun, but anyway. Junkyard is the third table for this one. And this is kind of a table that is a little obscure and has some really cool call-outs. The idea is you're going to be running away from Crazy Bob. And it's got some really cool stuff going on. The idea is you're supposed to escape from Crazy Bob and his dog Spike. And you have to create this, what's called a jalopy, by mixing in various parts, like propellers, toast, fans, a cuckoo clock, a bathtub, and you're supposed to put all this stuff together to create a flying machine that you can escape the junkyard and eventually defeat Crazy Bob. There's Crazy Bob. This table is actually pretty loud, which is pretty funny. You have the angel and a devil mechanic in this, so they keep talking to you, which is pretty cool. And I'll turn this one up a little bit. I wonder if they've adjusted this one already, because it seems super loud sometimes and super quiet others. This kick out right here, you cannot capture that ball on the left flipper as it comes out. So unless you get crazy with some forward nudges or something, it's the only way you're going to be able to hold that. So just know that you have to shoot that ball when it comes off that left flipper, when it does that kick out, or you will lose the ball. This game is not very forgiving with ball saves, so just know that off the top of the jump here. There's a little bit of a story mode here. You woke up Crazy Bob. Here comes multi-ball. So it has a little bit of a Black Rose type of dynamic to shoot the ball straight up the middle into the crane. It's a little tricky to get used to, but just because of the orientation of the flippers and the fact that that ball coming down that left side gives you no rest. You have to fire the ball coming down all the time. So that one I completely missed coming down. But that's really the inherent thing about this table is that you're going to lose a lot of balls down the center of the table. The outlanes aren't too particularly bad, but everything down the middle seems to be pretty difficult. And you don't have the ability to stop that ball on the left. You see in this instance, they're quick fire, man. Come. And you got to figure out what you're going to do with that because it's a lot. So that was a multi-ball. I mean, they come down fast. You didn't get a lot of. I had basically no scoring to speak of. People who like this table love this table. People who don't like it, you just will probably never play it again. It can be very, very difficult. So
Hurry.
now he's begging me to try to shoot the shot right up the middle again to start multi-ball again. So here we go. We had a multi-ball restart, and I've already lost it. I got two, I guess, but we'll try to capture. No, see, capturing a ball on this table is very difficult. You're going to have to get used to them bouncing around. You're going to have to learn to juggle, essentially. Very tricky table. But like I said, people really like it. There's a time machine mechanic, which I hope to show, that kind of showcases other Williams tables in a lot of their video modes and different callouts and different things. So they've got some really cool stuff going on with that. Basically hitting the crane a lot. Some of the shots in this table are really, really cool. I think they do a really nice job of
the modes have a lot of variety to them, so you're not making the same shot all the time like Black Rose. So you do make that shot up the middle a lot, but it's not the primary feature of the table like it is on Black Rose. So don't let that skew you if you don't like Black Rose. The music is a little bit grating, I think, but a lot of people like it. I will say that. Here we're back into a multi-ball again. So they come quick and furious. I mean, there's a lot going on, but you lose the ball really quickly, very easily on this table, like you see me here doing. So you're gonna have to juggle them. If I had to rate this table, I think I'd give it a 7. I know some people hate me for that. I think it's a pretty brutal table. I don't know that with what else is available, this is one that I would come back to all that much. There's certainly some potential here. There's some really cool modes. Some of the video modes are kind of cool where you're fighting Spike. You have to shoot him with the toaster. So you're not shooting an actual dog with a gun. You're only doing it with a toaster. In fact, we're going to show it right here. Save the girl. Spike is going to be running after the girl. And the idea is that we try to shoot him with toast. And you only have so much ammo. You can be really fast. There's quite a few different modes for that. Levels 1 and 2 are pretty straightforward. Spike is running after the girl, but in 3, sometimes she's running after Spike, which is a little weird. But pretty cool.
Radar Adventure.
The modes are pretty interesting because they're not linear. And based on the parts that you have, you can do certain things. Like if I didn't have the toaster before I start Save the Girl, for example, it would actually be a guy running with a package away from the dog. Whereas if you do have the toaster, you actually do Save the Girl, where you actually shoot the dog with the toaster. So, there is some variety there during the gameplay that actually is pretty cool. So I really appreciate that. But again, low scoring. You have the plunge is actually an award, so the time machine is lit, so that's cool. I'm hoping to show that. Yeah, to try to capture a ball is impossible on this table. It's so many times I try to capture the ball and just fail miserably. The ball is pretty heavy. It's not like it doesn't have that same mechanic as the other tables. It's just that this table doesn't have a good way to represent that. And right here I had time machine and an extra ball available. I'm lucky that they gave me another opportunity here because I didn't deserve it, that's for sure. Trying to capture it and it just does not want to go. I'm able to dead flip a little bit, but it's tricky on this. It seems a little inconsistent at times. Alright, so I got the extra ball, and I'm going to get time machine. Hopefully. Yeah. So you go back in time, and it's going to pick a mode from another Williams table, and we'll see which one we get. So, Creature from the Black Lagoon, move your car. How cool is that? Now granted, you don't have that same shot. This is going to be right up the middle to try to take that shot. But it has the sound effects and the video portions of it. Looks like I just missed it. Complete the multi-ball to light it. So, at any rate, yeah, Time Machines is pretty cool. The ones I know of, there's ones from you can do the video mode from Attack from Mars where you're shooting the saucers. You do Mamushka from Addams Family. There's all kinds of cool modes that come from other Williams tables, and it's just a really cool mechanic. Again, I like the shots on this table. I keep trying to convince myself that I could really like this table. This is kind of a bummer. This is supposed to be shown on the back glass, and it does not. So you can't see what you're selecting, and so it's a real bummer. Like you're supposed to be able to use the back glass to select what item you're going to get from the toilet. I know you can't see on the back glass, but it says light extra ball, collect fireworks, toxic waste, and there's a couple. I think there's 5 altogether that you get to select. It has no integration with the back glass at all, which is a real downer. I wish they would have done a lot more with that, but they just didn't. And that's what really kind of holds this table back in a lot of ways. Back glass is a little tricky. They didn't do what they could have done to help that. This table's a little bit loud. The sound effects are pretty good. In particularly the toilet sounds really, really good. But otherwise, it just kind of blends into the background. It's the typical things where you're going to hear the ball rolling around. You're going to hear some bumpers here and there. This one I give a 7. I want to keep playing it. I played it a lot leading up to this release on Switch to try to get a feel for it. I played it on Steam. I played it on Zen Pinball World. I actually owned it on Zen Pinball World to try to make sure that I knew what I was getting into and to play it as much as possible to try to get a feel for it. I'm just not digging it. I know if you love it, you love it, and if you don't, you don't. And so, of the pack, this is by far the weakest. Again, so wrap up, I'm going to give Medieval Madness a 9.5, only because of the downfalls of the music being too quiet and the upper third being quite dark. That's a 9.5. The table itself is a 10. We all know that. Medieval Madness is a fantastic game. The Getaway, I'm going to give a solid 9 to. I think the integration on that sounds really, really good. The rumble of the car, which I didn't talk about for the sound effects kit, is actually really apparent. It sounds really, really good. The sirens sound really, really good. And I just think the pack in general is really, really good. Junkyard, I'll give the 7 to. And but man, these 3 tables in the collection of all of the stuff that we have for this table right now, we are eating good in 2025. Really looking forward to the next pack. Rumor has that it might be Tales of Arabian Nights, perhaps Theater of Magic, and those packs maybe Champions Pub. So we don't really know. There's a lot of good tables out there that are coming. Funhouse is going to be out there. We don't know when those are coming, but there's some great tables coming. Obviously, we still got the Star Wars stuff out there, but this pack for $15 is an absolute steal. There's no reason to not buy it. Definitely do it. And hope you enjoyed the review, and we will see you next time. Retro.